Hello everyone, welcome back to Just Invest Today. In this video, we are talking about Alibaba and its forward catalyst going into 2023. We want to see Alibaba recover. I feel like there's a lot of potential here, and 3 catalysts, maybe even 4, can send the stock right back up to 200, 300 by next year. So we're going to get into it in this video because Alibaba has been crashing and it's still crashing all the way from $300 down to like around 73 at this point in time. And this is such a huge fall. And I don't think this fall can just last forever because Alibaba, the stock, is one of the best companies in China. So how long can the best company in China, Alibaba or Tencent, just remain at these low prices for? Can it be the next 2, 3, 4 years? Who knows really? But there's still so much potential for these companies that I see. If these 4 catalysts happen, this stock can easily become a 300 stock very fast. So let's get into it. Let's see what can happen in the near term for 2023. Can the stock recover? Let's get into it. But before we do, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm always providing you guys with so much new content, so like it and subscribe to this channel. Before we get into the 4 catalysts, I'm still shocked at this chart. Look where its peak was, from $309 in October 23rd, 2020, all the way down to $70 today. There's so many different things that contributed to this fall, from the Ant IPO fall down, from the tech crackdown from China, from everything with delisting risk. There are so many things all at once just to crash the stock. But guys, you got to see the opposite point of view. This provided us with a huge opportunity to get Alibaba at a cheap price. So you can kind of be thankful for all these things that happened in China because it killed the stock, which is a good catalyst for the future if you believe in the company long term. That's the main thing. If you believe in the company long term, then this should all play out well. So the first thing, China eases COVID measures, cutting quarantine and scrapping flight bans. This is very crucial because we know right now a large majority of the downfall of Alibaba and Alibaba just not getting those earnings growth, those sales growth, just doing what it normally does is because of this. The COVID measures have been all just killing the stock. People don't want to go out and spend. People are just afraid of what the government's going to do, and they're just hoarding their money. And you can see that with a lot of measures in China. People are just taking their money. They don't want to spend on real estate. They don't want to spend on goods. Even though you think that e-commerce should boom because you can't go out and buy goods because Alibaba is an e-commerce platform online. But no, people are they're restricting their spending. They're not going out and buying goods as much, not buying like the new phones. They're not buying all the makeup, cosmetics, clothing, all that stuff. So you can see kind of what has been happening since these COVID measures have been hitting, and we're seeing easing, but they're not cracking down on it. Second big catalyst that can come to Alibaba, US audit inspection of Chinese companies in Hong Kong ends. And people forget about this because no one really disclosed what was the final product of this. Like, what happened? What was the conclusion? Will this lead to China coming back? The auditing allowing Chinese companies to run on the New York Stock Exchange. And if this comes to a conclusion, like they're set in stone, people actually see the results, boom, we can see another 20, 30% easily if the audits go down and everything is cleared. This is a huge catalyst for Alibaba. If this comes to a final conclusion and New York comes out and says, everything is cleared, everything is right with Alibaba, don't worry. Like, that will send the stock up so fast. So that's another huge catalyst. Guys, another big catalyst, the third big catalyst, SoftBank dumps Alibaba shares, swinging into profit. And you have to remember what's happening with SoftBank. They have been dumping Alibaba shares like crazy. They went from like a 20%, 30+% position in Alibaba down to like 11%, 12%. So we see what's happening, how it's affecting Alibaba, because who's buying up all these shares? If SoftBank is just dumping, they were like the biggest holders of Alibaba stock. So if there's not enough buyers, you're gonna see Alibaba share price dump in the short term. So that's what's been happening. And we have to understand why. SoftBank Vision Fund loses $7.2 billion on tech write-downs. SenseTime, DoorDash, GoTo. The Vision Fund has been performing horribly. So how do they massage the balance sheet tell their investors, look how much profit we made. We made $21 billion in profit. Guess what? They've just been dumping Alibaba shares, and that's how they can show their investors. So they're making these short-term moves to prove to investors that they're solvent, that that they have a lot of liquidity, that they're going to be buying a lot of these companies in the near term. So they're offsetting all their losses in the Vision Fund by dumping shares of Alibaba, making a profit because they've been an investor for Alibaba for a long, long time. So that's how they're raising cash. That's what they're doing. So when this selling stops to happen, what can you see with Alibaba shares? They're going to go right back up after all this dumping stops happening with SoftBank. And SoftBank said they're going to stop dumping their shares. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this is going to play out into the future in 2023. The fourth catalyst. If this catalyst happens, it's over. Alibaba is shooting right back up to 200, 250. Ant Group may see an IPO comeback after a Shanghai land purchase. Ant Group may be hinting at a return of its IPO plans after an entity owned by Alibaba-backed fintech giant and Chinese conglomerate won the rights for a plot of land in Shanghai. Ant said that after the purchase is completed, it will acquire roughly 60,000 square meters of office space to bolster its presence in the city's fintech and blockchain landscape. So this new site is predicting a huge comeback for Ant and Ant Group. They're seeing the potential of growing economics for Ant. Ant is not done, and it's going to continue growing as people will spend more into the future, and people are going to use Ant Financial. It's just a matter of when the economy is going to come back. Ant was supposed to have a $37 billion IPO. Can you imagine that? A $37 billion IPO for Ant. That would have shot Alibaba up so fast as they own 1/3 of Ant Financial. Like, that would have been a crazy move if we saw that happen, but it didn't happen. The government shot that down. Actually, good reasons, as they had a lot of credit problems, as they were just giving credit to anyone. So the government didn't like that because they didn't want no financial ruin or some collapse by just giving out credit like crazy. So guys, what do you think about these four catalysts for Alibaba? Can you see it back up to 200 and maybe one or two of these things just happen? Like, you can see 200, 250 easily. I'm not even talking about the cloud growth. I'm not even talking about Alibaba recovering just from an earnings perspective. Like, that's not even with that. That's just with these four fundamental catalysts that can happen. What do you think about Alibaba going into 2023? We can see a huge catalyst happening with these four reasons. So guys, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Peace.